Alrighty, so good evening and thank you all for coming out. We have a fabulous poet with us this evening, Marissa Michel, and I'm going to go through Marissa's bio for everyone. We're so fortunate to have her with us. She is the 2020 Prince George's County Youth Poet Laureate. She is a second generation American of Haitian and Puerto Rican heritage. Marissa is known for being an outspoken advocate for women of color, immigrants, and underserved communities. She is the recipient of 2 national gold medals for her poetry in the prestigious 2020 Scholastic Arts and Writing Competition, as well as an American Voice nominee. Marissa is the 2020 Diaz Matison, I think I said that right, Poetry Prize winner, or Madison Poetry Prize winner, and her newest works can be found on the Scholastic Arts and Writing Online Gallery, Teen Link website, Love Letters to the Mothers and Fathers of the African Diaspora, and Bridgewater International Poetry Festival. So we are thrilled to have Marissa with us. And I think you're going to enjoy her beautiful poetry. I think I kind of covered your basic bio, Marissa. I don't know if there's anything else you want to share with us about your selection of poems that you're going to read for us tonight. Or you might want to go through each one and share with us what's going to be happening with them. And as you're doing that, I'm just going to be admitting people in. So I'm going to let you take it away at this time. And thank you again for coming to the Berks Bards.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. And again, thank you everyone who came. I'm so excited to share my poetry today. So, could I have screen sharing enabled? Because I feel like it can be helpful for the audience to sort of read my poetry too, as I read it.
We're not on video, are we? Here, darling. Are we on video here?
I don't know.
Yes.
Let me maneuver my screen around. Okay, so a lot of my poems that I'm going to share tonight have either some Spanish or some Creole in them, and this poem in Mayagüez has some Spanish in it, but all of the times that I include another language, the translation is going to be probably in the next line. Mayagüez is a town in Puerto Rico. It's where my mom was born, and a lot of my family is from on that side. So yeah, I'm very excited to share this piece. I wrote it about a year or 2 ago, I believe. So in Mayagüez, the men collapse into rusty metal chairs behind the bodega and play dominoes in stiff, sticky air, the sky as black as the dirt on sugarcane fields. The next day, the children wear white dresses stained red with the juice of tart cherries. Roosters screech in the fresh orange morning, making the same ruckus as us come Friday night. The birds are black dots on a beach of brown sand, flitting between shards of green bottles. Buried in the sand, pages of torn fashion magazines the Coca-Cola-haired women read. The same women that cut their tongues with the kitchen knife after the onions and before the hot peppers. The same women that go to the small wooden chapel with freshly ironed dresses and runs in their stockings, chanting, El Señor es mi pastor, while a silver cross rises and falls on their chests. Here, even the furniture knows to stay out of the man's way when he walks into his glass house. The one at the top of the hill, blanketed by the green of trees and the smell of chicken simmering in vegetable oil. Yesterday, a woman burnt her arm when she knocked over the pan and tried to soothe her pain the only way she knows how. She ran the icy bath water until she couldn't feel anything. The cotton curtains flutter in the evening winds when he leaves. This is when we learn that the best composer is the palm tree, writing symphonies out of the rustling leaves that carry the sighs and hums of our mothers. Our mothers who passed down lessons like cooking recipes and belt lashes, saying the same words 1,000 times. Niñita, escúchame. Little girl, listen. Dreams do not belong to us. Recuerda, remember. Once the gray-eyed moon climbs back into the sky, the men can be found drunk in the shadows of our ancestors, in stiff and sticky air, collapsed in rusty metal chairs, behind the bodega in Mayagüez. So,
very nice.
Thank you.
Yes, an elegant poem.
That piece, in a lot of my poems, I feel like they can be sort of a snapshot of a place. You know, I give an image of a certain scene with the poem, and I feel like some of the themes in this piece, which is why I wanted to start off with it, are religion and dynamics between the wife and her husband, or between women and men, and as well as intergenerational relationships between the child and the mother. So you're probably going to see a lot of those themes throughout my pieces tonight. So that's why I wanted to start with this.
Perfect.
So the perfection of language. This one I wrote about my grandmother on my dad's side. And my grandfather were born in Haiti and came to the US in their 20s. So she still has a very, very strong accent, even when she speaks English. And I've had a lot of conversations with her, and it's so interesting to me, her perspective on that and on language versus mine, because one time she was telling me, like, I hate that I have this accent, you know, because people always look at me weird and they're like, where are you from? And I wish they just heard what I was saying and not my accent. And so this poem was inspired by that comment that she had made to me when I was at her house one time. So it's called On the Perfection of Language, actually. I sometimes confuse my grandmother's voice with the ferocity of oceans, with the dignity of lions, with the rumble of race car engines, the way her tongue coils like a snake, sometimes a copperhead ready to strike and unleash Creole like rapid fire, sometimes a boa creeping in the shadows, willing to choke the air out of you just by being in her presence. Her vocal cords must be made of steel, the way they embrace the thunder when she fills the house with sound. It is only at night, when the wind rustles through the trees, when the crickets chirp in the low grass, she is quiet. She tells me she envies the smoothness of my speech, how I never trip over my words or get twisted in my sentences. I yearn to tell her how I envy her speech, how I wish her words did not claw and scratch and resist finding a home behind the bars of my teeth. She mutters English words under her breath, listens to the American TV until dawn, carves away the sharpness in her tongue, chisels the powerful snakes into imperfect flowers, and labors over the perfection of language. Thank you.
Yes, very nice. You're getting some fabulous comments. Everything that one would say, I mean, exquisite. Some of the lines in that are just absolutely exquisite.
Thank you. That one actually is, this year is currently a contender for a national medal in the Scholastic competition. So I'm waiting on that, but this is also same thing this year, a contender, so.
And this is all from the junior high school. Marissa's
I'm a junior. Oh, I should have said I'm a junior at Sidwell Friends.
Yeah. Well, I was going to cue that in later, but I tell you this, the poems are just so, as I think Sally said, exquisite, that I thought I'd, sort of arrest everyone with the fact that you are, in fact, still in high school.
Thank you. So this piece is titled "The Birds Left Us." The birds left us in the hours when shadows dance, a smooth and rhythmic waltz over our naked streets and cracked sidewalks. In our waking moments, the first thing we notice is the silence. Emptiness hanging dry in the air like clothesline laundry. Exhaustion imprinted on our bones, sleep still hovering above our eyes, our bodies sway like dandelions in the infant morning. Yesterday, the children carried the wind on their backs and drank sunlight under the ceiba trees, left footprints in the coffee-colored soil. Chaos follows the birth of the new day. It ignites in our hearts and spreads like wildfire. The sweet memory of guava rests on my lips, which now ask my ancestors for answers, guidance, forgiveness. My grandmother clenches her bony hands around the Bible, palms wrinkled and calloused, a testament to aging. She devours holy words with the hunger of a starved animal, spits out psalms like papaya seeds. We press our hands, delicate as paper cranes, to our temples, our heads bowed beneath the weight of fear or hope. The sediment forces hollow valleys into our knees and pushes train track lines into our legs. I wonder where the birds have gone. I thought the world would end in darkness, yet the searing sun's rays leave no escape from the light. Night returns and falls upon us like a crashing wave, ushering in a mysterious tide. What has the moon seen? Her silver glow a vanishing ghost. The beat of my heart is rhythmic, da-dum, 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 the start to an unfinished symphony. Escaping from my throat, a warbled cry, too ugly to be song, too bold to be the humble notes of mourning. I feel a brush against the cage of my ribs, a flapping, a forceful push, something like feathers, something like wings. So to me, that poem, the birds, represent hope. And I wrote that very recently because this past year with COVID-19 obviously has seemed like finding hope is a very rare thing. But at the end, I wanted it to symbolize the bird or the hope is still within us, even when it seems like it has gone. So.
Yeah, I tell you, Sally and I are on the same page because both of us were taken with the spits out palm seeds like papaya, spits out psalms like papaya seeds. Just lovely, lovely. Wow.
Thank you.
And that's one of the ones you're saying is a contender for that's beautiful.
Yes,
beautiful.
Notification. But I won't find out about that till I believe March, but I'm very excited.
Well, when you find out, you'll let us know, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And then my final piece for the recorded section of my poetry is Ode to a Sunrise in the Middle of Nowhere. Freedom runs like blood, eager and impatient in our veins. Here, sweat freckles our skin, salty beads, red tinted under the pomegranate-colored sky. I wonder when I stopped admiring that sky and started trying to touch it instead. Today, the scent of fried fish and charcoal smoke is so thick it weaves into my clothes and does not come out with the wash. Escúchame, listen to me, my grandmother says. Hay más en la vida que los amaneceres y las noches estrelladas. There is more to life than sunrises and starry nights. In the lulls of June mornings, I trace the path of hatched lines inked into my open palms. I am learning the art of acceptance. Sometimes the birds resemble toy planes when they dive into the trees and disappear before my watching eyes. The only reminder of their presence is their song which carries the smooth sways of summer days, captured in subtle, striking melodies. I wonder when it became so easy to ignore their tunes. At night, our calloused feet soften in the cool grass. We grasp with too much longing at the flickering lightning bugs and imagine we are catching stars in our hands, which are tough and dirt-creased and empty. The children dance to an unfinished song of rising and falling. They slide and dip and turn with an ease that time has stolen from us. My grandmother's movements are sharp and mechanical, shoulders angled, elbows pointed, knees bent. She moves to a soft and quick staccato, the rhythm of a broken machine. Before waking hours, I catch the sunrise, the sky a canvas of bright reds, orange, yellows, a harmony of hues that bleed color into a forgetful landscape. I wonder how many sunrises my grandmother has seen with her hollow eyes. I hold the image in my gaze until the sun finds its place in the center of a sea of clear blue. When night falls, the brilliant vision resurfaces in my mind, and I wait, impatient for the next dawn, for the next day, for the next sunrise. So thank you.
Marissa, those poems are just absolutely awesome. I mean, that is phenomenal. Many of the lines in that poem, if you check out the chat, you will see that you have quite a few comments, so you probably want to check that out. Everybody, we're going to cut video recording for right now as Marissa moves to the second part of her reading. But if you want to take a moment to check out the chat and see what's coming up next week. I know next month Katie's going to be here. And there's a couple of other announcements in there. There's an announcement about my reading next week. And so as I do this, just give me about 2 minutes.
I'm reading.
Marissa, did she post the website?
Oh, I'm about to.
Yeah, I think I answered everyone's questions. Thank you so much, Marissa. And does anybody have any other questions that they just must ask? Great. So now we're going to move. Thank you so much, Marissa. And you are always welcome back.
Thank you. I love to come back.
Yeah. When you get that chapbook published, you come back and you let us know about it. Okay.
Definitely.
Perfect. So now we're going to move to the open mic section of tonight. And I know we had a few people that signed up for open mic. I don't know if there's anyone that wants to sign up at this time. If you do, just hit me up in the chat and let me know that you want to read tonight. Right now, I have 2 other slots open. Alrighty. Okay, so Teresa Rodriguez, where are you? I know I saw you.
I'm right here.
Hey, hon. Hey, can you just, probably just for my sake, if you can just give us a little bit about yourself, a little bit of info about yourself before you read. And so everybody kind of knows the rules of the game. It's basically a 5-minute read, no erotica. We just tell us a few bits about yourself, and then that's about it. And so
well, I first want to say that's a tough act to follow.
I know. I'm glad it's not me. I'm just gonna say.
Oh my God!
Sorry.
What a delightful presentation! Just beautiful, sweetheart. I'm very impressed and touched. And anyway, we'll go on. Yes, I have written 3 books of poetry. I have was going to read from one from each of the 2 that were published this past year. One's called Sonnets, which is all sonnets, and Longer Thoughts, which has some sonnets and some free verse and other things. So, but I wasn't going to start with that, but I would like to start with one that I just recently wrote called Fool, a sonnet called Fool. Fool that I was, oh fool, I was a fool, that I had ever opened up my heart and let you, rogue, into it. Not a part of me escaped humiliation. cruel as cruelty can be. You were the tool that sunk my spirit. You deigned to impart that lasting blow to keep us both apart, exposing my full self to ridicule. For if indeed I had had better sense than fall for such a piece of work as you, when everything I did was an offense and your supposed false love was never true. Oh, had I had the sense I do today, I could have wisely sensed to run away. Thank you. There's just supposed to be a little humor in that, but anyway. This is from Sonnets. It's called Oh, When I Think Back. Oh, when I think back to those halcyon days, when I believed the possibility that truest love would manifest to me and highest hopes would set the heart ablaze, I looked amidst the heat and smoke and haze to find this source of reciprocity, to find the embers glowing earnestly, which gave me joy. But it was not to be. For passion only came from in my heart, and not another, for it was not you who loved me back, but bid me to depart, and stomped upon the yearning fires too. For all my dreams were thus deludedly the conflagrations of a fantasy. Thank you. This last one is not a sonnet at all, but I thought about it after Amanda Gorman read at the inauguration that they called her a poetess. And I thought, what a wonderful word that is. I just love it. So I wrote this based on that with a bunch of present tense ing verbs. Poetess. Thinking, feeling, surging, trying, contemplating, dreaming, dying, resurrecting, and creating, finding, telling, speculating, stretching, seeking, finding, feeding, hearing, knowing, testing, bleeding, working, laboring, refining, learning, editing, defining, leaving, tackling, undertaking, molding, shaping, breathing, making, giving, yearning, hoping, waiting, re-revising, loving, hating, gelling, setting and preparing, finalizing, sending, sharing, publishing, then beaming, grinning, crying, celebrating, winning. Thank you.
Those are great. That was great. That was great.
Thank you so much.
That was performance poetry.
Thank you.
Yeah. Guys, I put the lineup in the chat. So James Palmer, is he here? I do not see James, right? So
this is me.
Oh, there
Hello?
you go.
Can
Okay.
you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yeah.
My chat screen was blocking you. Sorry, James.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, that's good. Hello, this is Jimbo. I've been attending the Berks Bards things for a while, and I was kind of bummed that we had to stop because of the pandemic, but this has greatly lifted my spirits. I have 3 pieces I'd like to read. 2 of them are completed. One of them is a fragment. I apologize in advance. The first one is called Blacklands. and it was heavily inspired by The Lord of the Rings. Black trees in a black forest below a black sky raining down black talons ranging far and wide. Welcome to the Blacklands. Hope you enjoy your stay. Welcome to the Badlands. Fall to your knees and pray. Welcome to the Blacklands. Bid all your tears goodbye. Welcome to the Badlands, here where the shadows lie. Black pits beneath a black tower crowned with black spires. Black spires behold a black mountain wreathed in red fire. Welcome to the Blacklands. Hope you enjoy your stay. Welcome to the Badlands. Fall to your knees and pray. Welcome to the Blacklands. Bid all your tears goodbye. Welcome to the Badlands, here where the shadows lie.
Very nice.
The first one. Thank you. Next one is, let me pull that up quick. Okay, here we go. This is called St. Peter, Mark It Down. Well, the bottom rungs on the ladder were the ones you stepped on the most. Hand over foot, the climb never ends. It was that or give up the ghost. Butchers, bakers, and candlestick makers came lining up to pay their dues. Crystal glass clinked in gilded halls, and the tallyman turned the screws. Write my name in your book, St. Peter, and make sure you mark it down. Someone ought to open a six-pack of fire and brimstone on this town. Well, curiosity killed the cat. Didn't help that his fur was black. You sang Hail Mary and thanked the Lord the night you had him dragged out back. All the rats gnawing at the baseboards came streaming with a screeching cry. They set their teeth on the seeds and grain while the oxen lay down to die. Write my name in your book, St. Peter, and make sure you mark it down. Someone ought to open a six-pack of fire and brimstone on this town. You're flying on wings of willow and wax, and it's a long way to the ground. Write my name in your book, St. Peter, and make sure you mark it down. The sails broke loose in the howling winds, and the storm decks split asunder. The rats came streaming over the sides and sank underneath their plunder. Butchers, bakers, and candlestick makers went rounding up feathers and tar. Cinders and ashes were trampled down as the proles came to see their czar. Write my name in your book, St. Peter, and make sure you mark it down. Someone ought to open a six-pack of fire and brimstone on this town. You're flying on wings of willow and wax, and it's a long way to the ground. Write my name in your book, St. Peter, and make sure you mark it down.
Nice, nice rhythm. Wow. Yeah, very nice. Thank you.
Yep. And I got one more. The last one, the half-finished one, called okay. Bonnie Blue.
Say that again, James. What was the name?
Bonnie Blue.
Mm-hmm.
I once met a lovely lady. She said her name was Bonnie Blue. She flashed me a pearly smile, whispering words I dared not mention. She offered me an apple, said I'd know just what to do. Then she took me by the hand down the road of good intentions. Tossing another penny down that old stone wishing well, Bonnie Blue, I sing to you, don't hurry me on down to hell. Holding my cards nice and close, watching for the dealer's tell. Bonnie Blue, I sing to you, don't hurry me on down to hell. And that's all I have for that one.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Very nice. Annette? Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I know this is like pretty amazing right now for me. It's all like sinking in all this great poetry, right? It's just like, I'm like on a high. So of course, probably for my benefit, you have to say who you are and what you're all about, because I'm new to this gang.
I'm new to this gang too. This is actually only my second Berks Bard evening to attend to. Excuse me 1 second. Jared? Sorry, I had some background noise. But what a wonderful night to be here, because Marissa, that was pure gift. Pure
Yes.
gift. So thank you for that. So I've been writing poetry for a number of years. I'm a published children's author and educator and spiritual director. And so I like to incorporate themes of social justice and feminism into my work. And I thought I would share 2 or 3 with you tonight. This one I actually just wrote yesterday morning, so I would love to share it with you. I'm calling it Daughter of Eve. Like Eve, I've been reaching for the apple, that sweet bite of wisdom, longing to take the fruit from the tree inside my being and swell with it. I'm curious, always wondering, asking too many questions. Don't banish me as you did her. I am a daughter of Eve, and I wear this body proudly. I am birth giver, wisdom seeker, courageous questioner, garden tender, earth lover. Eve's blood runs thick in my bones, and though it's taken 10,000 years, her voice now speaks through mine and every woman free. Thank you. Oops, sorry, 1 second here. Pulling up the second one. Oh, where are you? Okay. This one is called Dreaming America, and I wrote this summer. I take to the river trail images from my television screen. Another hurricane hits the coast, disruption of home and hope. A fire is set in Portland. Military personnel attack civilians. The clash of white and black, wealth, poverty, power, oppression, truth, and lies. I come here to the riverbank where life breathes in shades of green. Here where the hawk hovers over my head on his low-hanging hickory branch, and whose flight to a sistering tree I might have missed had it not been for the slow stride and astute eyes of a man and woman walking wrinkled hand in wrinkled hand, heads bent toward the trees. A birthday party is happening up on the hill. The women wear long, simple dresses and cover their heads. Generations of farmers and faith stroll in their quiet ways. I watch as a young man playfully pulls his lover toward the trail. She touches her hand to her bonnet, laughs, and they run down the path toward dusk and dreams. Along the bridge, a fisherman is packing his pole and his catch for the day. I pass raspberry bushes pushing their fruit and mothers their strollers. A little girl leans from her seat and smiles at me. Nearing the red-covered bridge, I hear music, the marimba, the maracas, the vihuela. A fiesta is taking place across the creek. Laughter and Spanish bubble up from the water where the children splash, and a man is building a cairn of rocks. And up in the field, which now lies golden in day's end light, 2 families in rich, milky shades of chocolate pose for a portrait shoot. The woman wears a veil, the man a white button shirt. The children are giggling. I remember again the images from my television screen and consider how the beautiful and brutal live remarkably as neighbors. Suddenly, I see now what the cameras failed to capture. Rescuers reaching hands and help to hurricane victims, healthcare workers risking again their lives to save life, peaceful protesters, descendants of slavery, Jim Crow, and poisoned potentiaries holding up signs behind white friends and allies, descendants of power and privilege, all of them moving toward the fuller fulfillment of a dream. I see the beauty of bravery, the elegance of courage, the grace of resilience. The unimaginative may say, these are dangerous times to be living, and they are right. And also true is that it is raspberry season, and sustenance abounds wherever life is nurtured by love, not greed, whenever room is made, like here at the riverbank, for the plain family's potluck and the lively fiesta, for the fishermen and the hawks, the photographers and the joggers, and the blending of families, the young and the old, here where air holds space for English, Ebonics, Spanish, German, and the language of hawk and hickory. And to those who wish to make America great again, I say, let's dream bigger than that. Let's make America greater than it's ever been before. Come with me to the riverbank. It's dreaming America here. Thank you.
Wow. Well, you have left your mark, Annette. My goodness. Wow. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. I think Sally.
Yeah.
Or is it Michelle? Okay. I think you were next on the list.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you. Just some wonderful, thank you so much. I know a lot of you, but it's my first time getting to be at Berks Bards, and it's been a wonderful evening. And Marissa, just, yeah, I always have to be reminded. You're an old soul, and just brilliant. Thank you. So I'm going to read two short ones out of my chap book, Anansi and Friends. I haven't read out of it for a while. Some of you might have heard maybe the second one. I'm not sure about the first. But the first is called Lisa, kind of a messed up non-rhyming sonnet. Lisa, cloth covers rock and rubble over skin and bone. We play a child's game, chasing arrows around every corner to her smile. Humming Nat King Cole, I happen to know she's been stolen and sold, had acid and paint thrown on that face in front of mountains. She hid at Chambord during the war. I wonder when they lifted the blanket from her eyes, did they dry like moth wings plastered to the wall after a hard rain? Was she relieved, resigned, sorry her locks stayed long while other heads were shaved, their bodies fried? She probably didn't give it a thought. By then, she had already outlived us all.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you. And the second one, I was thinking, and when I decided to read both of these, it was from Marissa, the line from her poem, Nous toujours ici, we're still here, the Creole, and reminded me of this poem of mine called Snow Duck on the Ides. Plus, it snowed, right, this week. Snow Duck on the Ides. I see the stone creation smaller than my neuropathic hand, all thumbs. I stop and fumble a shot. He's pocked, throat slit by sleet and sun. But once upon a time, his beak was bright, the yellow of daffodils that cry beside him. They're already dead, whether cased in glass by weather or man. The flower pot man on the corner flashes with flags on the 4th of July. A Santa hat in December. When wind or rowdy kids destroy, they fix him to resemble human form again. The duck is different. His grief is real, compounded and ignored, like poison in the veins, until the statue, now a stranger to himself, stares at me, black spotted face reminding in a whisper of precipitation, I'm still here. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Michelle?
There you go. Can everyone hear me?
Ah, there you are. Yes.
Okay, great. Marissa, I just wanted to thank you so much. Really loved your work, and thank you for sharing it. It's just wonderful. It's so inspiring, and actually it's inspired me to read about my Lebanese grandparents. And this poem is actually in my first forthcoming chapbook, and that's titled Descent, which will be out in a couple of months. Yay. So thanks for the inspiration. You inspired me the first time that I heard you read. So this one's titled Revealing My Jiddi. And Jiddi is Lebanese for grandfather. And there's one other word, Saeda, which means happiness. I'm happy. Revealing my Jiddi. Through back door, I see tall mint stacks and tomato vine shake. A trouser covered leg jiggles, sends bees swirling. Jiddi rambles up steps, announces arrival with clang of cane, his stiff leg upon storm door glass. Oyster shell hands grip a smooth red pearl. Smell of mint, earth, and white undershirt, sweat coats nubby whiskers. His brown, soft, boyish eyes marooned on an island of wrinkles and permanent woe. No pause, shuffling past, he rolls the bounty onto newspaper, covering the table, an offering to God. Derby hat perched, pipe falls, tobacco spills. Tongue sticks out, followed by a grin. He sputters, no one can grow them better. And with thick accented stresses, slice it, sit and eat, inshallah. He sat beside the pickled turnip jars, smoke circling head. Knife flashes in narrowed light, juices and seeds stream down, pulls on table. Room smells of sugar, fresh earth, biting into flesh as it dribbled. Breathing in summer, my skin becomes its skin, tingling and sated. I see his face enshrouded by smoke swirls, moted dust light, hardened frame softening. He shifts in his seat, exhales Saida. Breath hums to coffee percolating, steam settling.
Oh, that was nice, Michelle. The imagery was wonderful. Wow.
Thank you.
Very nice. Yeah.
So
guys,
a little bit, really wanted to talk about the thick accent and how that came through. So I was inspired by Marissa. I did have one more that's not very long, if there's time. And,
okay, not very long.
It's pretty short. And it's about my son. Shears. I sweep the gauzy fabric over my son's boyhood window. It emboldens empty shelves, re-wakes sad corners, hushed when he left home. I gather it around me like a dress puddling at my feet, swim as the light as I brightened. Through the many blinds I am mirrored, a lone cardinal perches on a high wire. It twitches and shifts, a ribbon of red suspended in a fog of white dust. Its feathers full and fluffed against the cold, quietly surveying, ready to forge the icy berries below. It glides down toward grass fervent, shows me how it scours moldy leaves, gathers, and finds the next outpost. I peer through the white weave, soften the hard edges of vacancy, the frozen dust, find the smile in old photos, carry what I need into the loft of sky.
Oh, that's so lovely.
Thank you.
That was worth the time. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was lovely.
First time I read that poem, I just had to get it out there.
Yeah, I could feel the emotion with that. Wow. So we have one more poet, and that's Sister Joy. But before we do, I just wanted to remind everybody to check the chat. There are announcements for submissions. There's the links to tomorrow night's open mic with First Fridays. There's links to my reading next Tuesday with Wild Readings. It'll be myself and Gwen, and it'll also, that's also the launch of my book or kickoff about my book, and so we'll be talking about that there too. So check out everything, and I think also there's the announcement about Anthony in terms of the Poet Laureate for the county. So check those out in the chat, and we'll stay up for just a few minutes afterwards, just so everybody can have an opportunity to save the chat if they need to. And so if you go to the dots and click on that and click on the file and save, you'll be able to save all the information that's in the chat. So alrighty, and so now we're gonna have Sister Joy take us home. And I know this has been a wonderful evening. I'll probably say that after Sister Joy too, but I know I always like to end with the poems in our minds, because it's just so, it really does bring me such joy to hear all of this. So not to play off of Sister Joy's name, it is truly that.
That's okay. It's good to see everybody again. I know some of you, and some of you I'm meeting for the first time. My name is Sister Joy. I'm the Poet Laureate of Prince George's County, Maryland. I'm very happy to be here. I'm going to share, actually, I'll start with this one tribute to recently departed Cicely Tyson, who was 96 years old, actress and activist who transitioned just last week. She was a diminutive, very small actress, activist, model, powerhouse of a force. And I'll just read the poem. I titled it, Miss Cicely. She showed us that statuesque has nothing to do with height, that regal is a state found on few maps, and radiance, like sunshine, is purest when emitted from the heart. She showed us that dignity and truth are paths we travel to find freedom, and excellence shines brightest through doors we open by our example. For Cicely Tyson. Thank you. This is a haiku, which I'll just say in thanks to Amanda Gorman. Such hills to climb, such hope to feel, such dreams to achieve, such sets me free. And my final poem is one from my book, Lord, I'm Dancing as Fast as I Can. And I offer it in celebration of Black History Month. It's titled Victors, Not Victims. As you read documents of my slave ship voyage, or see depictions of my bondage at sea, know that my spirit reigned supreme, both then and in this new land some claim as free. Although my body bore shackles and chains, understand that God's power sustains, transforming even a slaver's chains into a mother's embrace. No longer chains, but pure love enfolding me. Yes, God's power sustains. I knew not where my path would lead, but because today you know my story, much to my enslavers' dismay. Even Malcolm, Marcus, and Moses rejoice as I claim my victory. The freedom my soul sought in darkest night shines today in your witness to my plight. For as long as you can remember and not relive, as long as you can shout out loud about the horror and not fear the master's lash, as long as you can dance to the echo of my call from graves at sea or branches of the magnolia tree, then I say, dance, my sisters and brothers, dance. Dance to the rhythm of my voice, for I am with you still. And remember to list me among the victors, not the victims, for I claim my victory in you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sister Joy. And what a wonderful way to send us off to reminding us of the time that we're in right now, in the season for Black History Month. That reminds me that Voices of Woodlawn will be tomorrow on the First Fridays, the Maryland Writers First Friday. So if you guys want to join us for that, that would be great. And of course, First Fridays, we'll do Voices of Woodlawn, we'll do a little bit of a Q&A, and then we will have a bit of an open mic. So if you got to get in on early down there or over there at the First Fridays. So you need to register and let me know. But thank you, everyone. Marissa, thank you so much. We truly have enjoyed having you here this evening, and we want you to come back. And I think you did put your website in the chat, and so we're going to look forward to your coming publication as well. So
thank you.
Well, from North Carolina, believe it or not, guys, we got snow too down here. So so yeah, we had snow too. So thank you all so much, and we had a lovely evening. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, guys. Good night.